Alright, hello! I hope you checked out UI Explained. If not, well, we're just gonna dive in and look at armies and navies here, your troops, and what the UI looks like for those of you that want a head start, or those of you that are a little confused by where some things are. So, we're gonna start here with Classic Rome, SPQR. Take a look. We'll look at boats first. Boats are the same for every nation, every culture, at this current time. There's your boat. You drag, you select, you collect your boats. Woohoo! It's exciting. Tells you how much they're costing you. 0.64 ducats. How expensive! Whatever shall we do? Especially because we're losing money as Rome. Rip Rome. Tells you how many boats there are. Each one is an individual boat. If you want to move them around, you can come here and create a new unit. Oh, we can't quite do that. Apparently it's not. Oh, it's because we're in observer mode. I apologize. But yeah, you can create a new unit. You can split them. You can build to navy. So you can tell them you want to build more boats. Send it to this fleet. Very handy. You can disband it. Save yourself some money. Yep. We'll lose 4 ships. Right here, we can toggle unit types. Right now it shows boats. There are only boats. This does nothing. It does absolutely nothing with the boats. We'll notice it again with the armies. Under there, we have the total strength. How many ships in the fleet? What attrition? They're taking 0 attrition. They're at port. It's very good. Up here, we have a full retreat button. You can tell by the U-bend. Run away, babe, Sir Robin. Okay. Attached to units. You can attach them to someone else's units. Very handy when you're trying to play a multiplayer game, for example, and having your fleets to combine to take down Rome's fleets. You can raid ports. This is an option if you are military. Boop. No, these guys cannot do that, right? They can raid cities. Yes, they can't raid ports. I don't know why it shows for everybody, but if we go take a look at a little Syracuse down here. Syracuse, military, they can raid ports because they have Greek traditions. This allows you to take your boats, and they have to have at least 10 boats. And you go sailing along an enemy coastline, it just has to be a coastline that's not your coastline. Then you click this button, you spend 25 military power points, and you get 2 aggressive expansion. 2. A full 2, not 0.2, 2. And you get 1 slave. They get shipped back to your home city. It's so weird for me to see Syracuse looking so empty. Huh. Alright, but you get to send them home. That is your fleet. And then you also have attachments allowed. So remember, this is attached units. If you want to be able to attach your unit to someone, that someone needs to allow attachments by clicking that. Also, your fleet's tactics are very standard, middle of the road, but you can change them. If you spend some military points, you spend 5 military points, you can make them so that they're less offensive, more defensive. You just want them sitting off your coast, stopping someone else from attacking you, and possibly landing troops. You're controlling a straits. They're just chilling there. They're going to defend. That's a good thing to do. On the opposite side, we have ramming tactics. Offense is better, defense is worse. So you can win some close battles by doing that. The other option is this lovely exclamation mark, select unique objective. This is awesome. This lets you cut down a lot on the micro. Cuts down a lot. So you can tell them to be independent operations. You turn that on in a war, and they'll go floating around through the ocean, breaking blockades, finding enemies' ships, hunting them down, killing them, doing all sorts of things, and you don't have to worry about it. Naval landings. You set them to this, and you will be able to take troops, right-click them somewhere, and these boats will come and pick them up and move them, as long as there are enough boats for all of the units. Your blockade hostile coast. So like independent operations, except they won't hunt anyone down. They will literally go and find a coast and sit there. Same for here, hunt fleets. They will only hunt fleets down. They will not go and sit on a coast at all. Next you have reconnaissance. They're literally just swimming around, looking to see what's going on. They won't try and engage the enemy, but they'll make sure you know where they are. So those are your boats. This is where you click to change your commander. You click it, you can pick the guest guy. You can pick the guest. You want to pick by marshal. You want to make sure they're loyal, because if someone is not loyal to you, well, let's just say bad things happen. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Alright, but let's go take a look at armies. We'll go back here to Rome, because Rome is special. Here's Rome. Here is your army. You notice it is very much set up the same as your navy. Except there's more buttons. Many more buttons. So up here, the additions, we have consolidate cohorts. You consolidate them. This helps with your manpower returning to your troops. It will try and strengthen your units, which will help them fight better. It's a desperate measure, but it's also something to do when you have low manpower. You can detach a siege. They're not sieging anything, but if they are, you can tell them to stop currently. And those are the two new buttons. Down here, where unit types works. This is what is in this army right now. We have 5 archers, 5 heavies, 5 light cav. Hover over them, it tells you how many. Turn this on, it tells you all the possible troop types. And how many troops you have there and how many you have. The number is different because, let's say this guy gets hurt attacking and it goes down to 800. Well, then you don't quite have 5,000 archers anymore, but you still have 5 cohorts. Just one cohort is under strength. And there is your total strength. There is the attrition they are taking and how much and why. They're currently 17 in the city. That is their weight is 17. The supply limit is 61. They are totally fine. Supply limit is important because different troops have different supply limit. Archers are supply limit. Attrition weight, apologies. Attrition weight. Archers have minus 10%. The other ones that are low attrition weight are the light infantry, minus 50%. It's why the 2 of them are so good for sieging. Most camels, chariots, heavy cav, or sorry, not heavy cav, camels, chariots, horse archers, and light cav are all equal. They have no plus or minus attrition weights. Heavy infantry is a plus 50% attrition weight. They take more attrition. They are terrible for sieging. They are terrible for attacking in the desert. It's just a bad idea. Same goes for heavy cav, except they're even worse, plus 100%. And at the ultimate end of the spectrum is war elephants, plus 200% attrition. Do not use war elephants to siege. You will lose so many men, so many, because the attrition weight affects everybody standing there. It may be 3 elephants and 10 light infantry. Even though this light infantry take less attrition weight, the elephants cause them to take attrition because they are eating so much, there is no food left for the poor troops. Elephants come first. Elephants always, always come first. Most of the time you'll make this smaller. And then there is their maintenance. They're rather expensive because heavy infantry costs more. But that's okay. They fight pretty well too. Alright, and then across here you'll notice these buttons. These are your, picture your basic setup for your troops. These are your primary cohorts. These are the guys that attack first. These are the guys that attack second when the first guys get beaten back. These guys are the ones who hit from the sides and encircle. Think of it as this is the skirmish phase. And then we move on to the main event. And while the main event is happening, these guys rush in and save the day. Or they try to. They try really, really hard to. So this is the perfect army setup. Your archers attack. They have morale damage taken. They take plus 25% morale damage. So they will run before they will all die. You will save manpower with this because they will do as much damage as they can before they break and scatter and they disappear behind those nice heavy infantry guys that are gonna do damage and take damage and go home with the trophies and the heads and the gold and slaves and you know all that good stuff. While on this, the cav are doing things on the side and hopefully breaking the other guy's cav. One thing to keep in mind is, we'll go back down here, Syracuse, where I've been playing. They only start with archers, And yet your cohorts are set up the same. This means you probably want to click them and reset things. Down here in Syracuse, you can only make light because you have no iron. So you're probably going to want to switch this out to light infantry. They take minus 25% morale damage. They are pretty good at hanging out. These guys take less morale damage. Typically people that take less morale damage, you want to put them in the middle. You want to put them in the middle. Because they're going to hang out. That would be your infantry, heavy infantry, your light infantry. And yes. So your heavy infantry, your light infantry, you want to go in the middle. Things such as archers pretty much are set up to go in the front. And as for the flanking, I would assume one of your horsey boys or your elephant boys or your camel boys. But that's something people are still experimenting with. I'm sure there will be guides on that in the next coming weeks as people really dive deep into the troop configurations and what works best. But that's the basics there. Also, you can have your preferred size of flank. You can have it's 2, 5, or 10. Basically, if you have a really large army, you want your flanks to be larger. 5 is the default. I've put 2 when I have really small armies. I have not experimented with 10 yet because of the way my armies are set up. But that's something else I'm sure people will be creating guides on. The size of the flank, which if you come into a battle, we'll be able to see. I will try and load a save and talk about that more at the end. Alright, some differences up here with our troops is you can still order a full retreat. You can attach to a unit. You can also build roads. So, you can build roads with units if you have the military tech to do it. Which is tech 6, I believe. It doesn't tell us, because we don't have 10 units there. Let's come up here to Rome. Yes, these guys cannot, there we go, build military roads, which cost them less. Rome is special. Rome is very special. Let's go to Carthage. There we go. There's 10k troops. So building a road. Civic advance is greater than 6. Most people require this. Civic advance is greater than 6 to build roads. To build a road, you grab your troops, you click that button, and then you right-click them into the next province, and they will slowly walk there while eating a lot of maintenance. But by the time they're done, there will be a road which doubles your travel time. It makes a huge amount of difference when you start making large empires. Rome is special because Rome gets military roads, which is attached to this, the Roman roads. They're Italic traditions, which if we go look at some other guys, they can also build Roman roads, but they are not Rome. But they're the Italic traditions. So these are tied very heavily into what your troops can do. Rome can also construct border forts, which allow, as part of the military tradition, this allows them to spread their land to a degree. Whoops, excuse me. That's not what I meant to do. That's really not what I meant to do. Excuse me. Let's just blame being tired and streaming for 7 hours for that. I apologize. Construct border forts. This allows you to spread your border into all this land. McConnell was doing it quite nicely over on his stream earlier this evening. And he was calling it rather OP. I don't know if it is, but that will be for people to decide over time. We'll see. We'll see. Also with your troops, you can desecrate holy sites. This does not give you very much. In fact, it actually makes your, it makes the omen power there less, or it makes your omen power less, and then the city that you desecrate, though, loses a lot of happiness. So if you're really trying to hurt someone and scorch the earth, this is a way you can do it. Over on this side, we have assigned to region. So you can assign troops to work in a specific area. This will have to do with their automatic objectives, which we will look at in a moment. I'll close that. Thank you. And close that too. Attached to units, same as with ships. You can force them to march. They move 50% faster, but their morale and their supply and attrition, it can be really hurt. Forced marching, when you have a road across your country where they are not taking any attrition is awesome. Horse marching across the desert. We'll probably see them all dead on the other side. Just an FYI. And then you can reorganize. As long as you're staying in your own land, you can spend the little military points, reorganize, they reinforce faster, they recover their morale faster, but they cost more, and they slow down. This is good. You're fighting that defensive war. You're trying to hold them off. You still have manpower, but your troops just had a terrible, terrible battle. Well, this is the way to get them back in that fight, grab some reinforcements that you had popping up right there, and go charging back in and take names. Show them off. Alright, up here we have your shocks. They all are better or worse against certain types of troops, or with certain types of troops. It's kind of a rock, scissors, paper kind of deal, just there's more selections. The basics are shock, envelopment, skirmishing, deception, bottleneck. Some, like the Greeks down here, with their Greek tradition, they gain access to the phalanx, which is pretty cool. In terms of others, no, these ones allow chariots. There was another one. No, these guys have phalanxes. That might be it. No, 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 these guys allow chariots. I thought there was another one. Oh, I think it's hidden farther in here. There you go, the cavalry skirmish tactic. There it is. There it is, I apologize. So Greek traditions allow you to unlock another type of strategy, which is pretty cool. So those are your actions. Alright, underneath you have your unit objectives. No objectives, you control your troops. They'll just stand there until you tell them what to do. Independent, they do whatever the hell they want. Defend your borders. They will wander along your borders, take siege back land that an enemy has sieged, and they will also go out and fight barbarians that wander across and try to destroy your civilization. Fight rebels. They'll literally fight rebels. That's what they focus on. Reconnaissance. They will do quite with the boats, and they'll sweep around, look for where the troops are, but won't engage them. They'll stay out of range of them. This would probably be really well with Cav. Again, it's not something that we've been able to experiment with, but I'm sure people will, and I'm sure there will be many detail, or lots of detailed information about that soon. Keep in reserve. They stay behind, and they try to avoid attacking anyone unless they know they're going to crush them. Which allows you to tell some of your troops to keep themselves safe, while maybe you focus on primarily attacking with other troops. These are pretty nice. I was actually using them in another game earlier. But that's it with these guys. Oh yeah, we can also do military colonies, which allow you to move to another settlements, pay some manpower and some military power, and then you get a freeman, which is pretty cool. You do have to unlock the tradition for it, and I believe it's for only uncolonized land. Alright, we're going to go take a look at tribes, because tribes are a little different up here. This is a migratory tribe. They have a lot more buttons. They have so many buttons. Main differences here. Build roads, that's all the same. Desecrate holy sites, that's the same. They can raise levies. This is tied to a military tradition. And they can just, if they've got at least 7 owned cities in a province, they can just raise 7 units of light infantry. They're calling up the militia. It does cause local unrest because people don't like being press ganged, but it can get you some troops quickly. They can pillage. This is also unlocked. As long as you're in a city civilization level that's greater than 20, you can pillage and take some beautiful, beautiful power for yourself, and you hurt the province quite a bit. Quite interesting. You can also raise a city. As long as you're not in your city. When you raise it, they lose civilization level. And that's helps you. That's about it. By raising the structure of a developed city, we may find a more suitable place to settle our faithful tribal population. So that's true. Because tribes people don't like civilization. They're very unhappy. I've got a clip to prove that. Alright, the last one is settle. So I will find this best to demonstrate it. So we'll be right back, folks. Alright, and we're right back. Shouldn't have even been a second for you. But here we are. We are actually playing as the lovely nation of Bohemia. Not boy. Not to be mistaken with good old boy down here. But Bohemia, who is a migrant tribe. So, if we want, we can settle tribes. How we do this? If we have a single city that has at least 3 pops, we have a lovely extra button right here, which we'll talk more about this in another video, but this is the city page. You can raise it up. It costs you 100 power, oratory power, and it turns every single person in that province, in that city, into a troop. Boing! They're there. Hello! You can do this with all of yours. Every single one, as long as you have enough power. There we go. There's your power. For demonstration purposes, of course. You can turn your entire nation. As long as it is your culture. If it is not your culture, you can't raise them. It's very sad. You can correct that, though. Assimilate! You can also correct that on other means. We'll talk about that later. But you can raise them up. You can even come to your lovely capital and raise them up. Everybody in the capital. Then you pick them up and move them. Let's look at resources real quick. Ooh, what do we got? Ooh, there's horses. We didn't own horses. Let's go stand over there and get horses. Charge! As they charge across the world, very slowly moving. There's nobody in charge. That's fine. They come stand over here. There's horses. And now we can settle. All of them. But before we settle, you see that there are pops living here. We settle. Boing! The troops are gone. We click. There's now more people living here. And we have horses. It's exciting. Migrant tribes are fun. But that's how they work. And you can tell them all to settle back where they were. They act like troops. They run around. You can put people in charge of them. But they are, you know, based off of pops. So if they die, you're losing pops in your civilization. One thing to keep in mind is if you do raise all your troops up like that, then you go from being a local power to a migrant horde with no cities. Which doesn't give you some bonuses. But that's, I believe that explains everything. Oh yeah, chance of loyalty. This is something I did not discuss because we did not have governor. So, you have the guy in charge. This is a clan retinue, so it's not controlled by you. It's not raised by you. It's not paid for you by you as the clan. It's raised by him. And this is how likely they are to become loyal to him. If they are loyal to him, which is what this hand means, that's fine. As long as he is loyal to you. If he is not loyal to you, then these troops will not do anything you tell them to, and then this button will get a different modifier, a different image on it that looks like a little burning fist. And he will just run around and do whatever the hell he wants. And forget about you. For example, if we bring these boys back up, we can assign them a commander. You want to assign someone who's actually loyal to you and is gaining loyalty or has no malices. One thing to know, though, is as they fight battles, the troops will become more loyal. So if we put him in charge, there's their chance to become loyal because he has charisma. They like him. He is now in charge. He is gaining loyalty because we put him in charge of troops. But for each troop that likes him more and more and actually becomes loyal, he will start losing loyalty, which makes him very likely to take your army and run off and do whatever he wants. And if enough armies do that, they will start a civil war. That's very bad. Just ask Shenrir. Alright, but that's it. I believe that's. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Bye, guys!